Get your hands off that child. Now. Sir, she has a tension pneumothorax. Her left lung is collapsing. If you don't decompress in the next 2 minutes, I said step away from her. You are a lunch lady. You don't put your hands on a student at this school. Do you understand what will happen to you? Get this woman out of my sight. Janelle Price didn't flinch. She lowered her hands slowly, the child's blood still warm on her fingertips, and stepped back from the tiny body on the gymnasium floor. Her voice came out quiet, almost gentle. She has about 90 seconds, Doctor. Maybe less. Dr. Hugh Crandall's lip curled. He looked her up and down. Hairnet, stained apron, black skin. I'd rather handle this myself than let a cafeteria worker play surgeon on a child. The girl's breathing turned to wet, shallow gasps. Her lips were going blue. And the woman they shoved away from that gymnasium floor was the only person in the building who knew how to save her. What happened next changed a billionaire's life forever. Ashford Academy doesn't look like a school. It looks like a place where generational wealth goes to reproduce. The campus sits on 42 acres of rolling Connecticut hillside, stone buildings draped in ivy so old it has its own endowment. The admissions office is paneled in walnut. The library has first editions behind glass. The parking lot on any given Tuesday holds more money than most people will earn in a lifetime. Tuition is $58,000 a year. Kindergarten through 8th grade. The waiting list is longer than the student roster, and the fundraising gala held every December in the Ashford Gymnasium is a 2000s a plate affair where men in bespoke suits write six-figure checks between courses of Wagyu beef and poached lobster. This is where Connecticut's most powerful families send their children, surrounded by oil portraits, Latin mottos, and the absolute certainty that nothing could ever go wrong. 3 floors below the gymnasium, in a basement kitchen lit by buzzing fluorescent tubes and the orange glow of industrial ovens, Janelle Price is slicing pears. Lit. She is 43 years old, black, built lean and straight like a woman who has spent her life standing when others sat. Her cafeteria uniform is spotless, pressed, every button fastened. Her hands move the knife with a precision that does not belong in a school kitchen. Each slice is identical. Each motion economical. No wasted effort, no wasted time. She has worked here for 4 years. She arrives before the first bus. She leaves after the last dish is dried. She speaks when spoken to, which is rarely. The other kitchen staff know her as quiet, reliable, strange. She never eats lunch with them. She never talks about her life before Ashford. Around her neck, hidden beneath her collar, hangs a thin steel chain. On it, a single pendant. Not jewelry. A challenge coin, dull bronze, scratched, the insignia of the 101st Airborne Division nearly worn smooth. She touches it sometimes when no one is looking. No one is ever looking. Tonight, as she carries a tray of hors d'oeuvres to the service elevator, she passes the gymnasium prep area. Through the crack door, she sees the medical station set up for the gala. Standard protocol. A folding table, a first aid kit, an AED still in its plastic case. The AED is placed wrong. The pads are still sealed in a bag that has been tucked under the table instead of mounted on top for immediate access. The first aid kit is a consumer-grade box from a pharmacy. No airway adjuncts, no hemostatic gauze, no chest seals. Her fingers drift toward the AED. She catches herself. She is not allowed to touch those things. She grips the tray and keeps walking. Evening, Janelle. Josie Alvarez, the school nurse, 38, warm-eyed, the only person in this building who uses her first name. She smiles at her the way you smiles at someone you suspect is more than what the world has allowed them to be. Janelle nods. Josie walks on. Janelle looks back at the medical station one more time. She doesn't fix it. But her jaw tightens. Her hands remember. Outside, a nor'easter is building. Snow is falling sideways. The forecast says 12 to 18 inches by midnight. The roads are already glazing over. At 7:23 p.m., the gymnasium is full. 240 guests, crystal stemware on white linen. A string quartet playing Vivaldi in the corner. Children from the junior choir stand on risers near the stage, dressed in matching blazers, waiting to perform. Warren Ashford III sits at the center table. He is 71 years old, white-haired, worth $4.2 billion, founder of Ashford Capital Partners, and the man whose family name is carved into the stone above every door on this campus. His granddaughter, Lily Ashford, 8 years old, blonde, small for her age, stands on the second riser with the choir, fidgeting with the collar of her blazer. She has asthma. Her inhaler is in her backpack, which is in the coat room, which is across the building. Warren watches her and smiles. She waves. He waves back. At the head table, Dr. Hugh Crandall holds court. He is 56, silver-templed, tanned December, the kind of tan that comes from a villa, not a beach. Board member, cosmetic surgeon, Park Avenue practice. He speaks about himself in the third person when he's had enough wine, and he's had enough wine. His wife, Melinda Crandall, smiles the way wives smile when they've learned to perform approval as a reflex. Crandall is telling the headmaster, Philip Mercer, about a rhinoplasty he performed on a senator's daughter. He describes it the way some men describe conquests. Mercer nods and pretends to listen. He has been pretending for years. Below them in the basement, Janelle Price is washing her hands. Her shift is over. She unties her apron, folds it, places it in her locker. She reaches for her coat. Then she hears it. Not through the walls, through the floor. A sound that traveled through concrete and steel and finds the one person in the building who recognizes it. A scream, not adult, not theatrical. The scream of a child in genuine respiratory distress. Her hand stops on the coat, her breathing changes, slower, deeper. She has heard this sound before, not here. Somewhere with dust instead of marble. And a 7-year-old girl on the floor of a bombed-out school with the same sound in her throat. She lets go of the coat. In the gymnasium, chaos. Lily Ashford has collapsed on the risers. She is on her side, gasping, her small body rigid. The other children are screaming, scrambling off the risers. A music stand crashes to the floor. Chairs scrape. Josie Alvarez reaches her first. She kneels beside Lily, checks her breathing. It's there, but wrong. Shallow. Labored. One side of her chest is rising. The other is not. Josie's hands are steady, but her face is not. She has been a school nurse for 11 years. She has handled nosebleeds, broken wrists, panic attacks. She has never handled this. She listens with her stethoscope. Left side, clear breath sounds. Right side, nothing. Silence, where there should be air moving. Her stomach drops. She looks up at Philip Mercer, who is standing 3 feet away with his mouth open. Call 911. Now. Tell them we have a pediatric patient, 8 years old, possible tension pneumothorax, right lung. We need a paramedic unit with a chest decompression kit. Mercer fumbles for his phone. His hands are shaking so badly he drops it twice. The 911 dispatcher answers. She tells them the truth. The nor'easter has shut down Route 15 and the Merritt Parkway. Every ambulance in the county is committed. Estimated response time, 35 to 45 minutes. Lily Ashford does not have 35 minutes. She may not have 10. Warren Ashford is at his granddaughter's side. The man who controls a $4.2 billion empire is on his knees on a gymnasium floor, holding an 8-year-old's hand, and his voice is shaking. Somebody help her. Please. Somebody tell me what to do. Hugh Crandall strides through the crowd like a man who has been waiting for an audience. He straightens his jacket. He squares his shoulders. He kneels beside Lily with the practiced confidence of a surgeon who has not treated a child in 22 years and has not handled a trauma case since his residency in 1996. Everyone step back. I'm a doctor. I've got this under control. He does not have this under control. He has a Park Avenue practice that specializes in facelifts and eyelid corrections. He has not placed a chest tube since his 3rd year of residency. He has not decompressed a pneumothorax since a simulation exercise that he passed with a C- 28 years ago. He listens to Lily's chest. His brow furrows. He hears what Josie heard, silence on the right side. But he does not say pneumothorax. He says possible bronchospasm, probably her asthma. Someone get her inhaler. Josie's face tightens. Dr. Crandall, with respect, her trachea is deviating to the left. She has absent breath sounds on the right. This is not asthma. This is, I said it's bronchospasm. Crandall does not look at her. He is unwrapping the consumer-grade first aid kit with hands that are designed for delicate cosmetic work, not emergencies. Get her inhaler and an ice pack. Elevate her legs. Josie stares at him. Elevating the legs of a child with a tension pneumothorax will make it worse. She knows this. He apparently does not. Lily's oxygen saturation, measured by the pulse oximeter Josie clipped to her finger, reads 84%. Dropping. Her heart rate is 148 and climbing. Her neck veins are distending, pressing against the skin like blue worms. The pressure is building inside her chest cavity. Air is leaking from the damaged lung into the pleural space with every breath she takes, compressing the lung, shifting the heart, collapsing the circulatory system from the inside. She is drowning in her own chest, and the only doctor in the room thinks it's asthma. In the basement stairwell, Janelle Price is climbing, not running, climbing. Steady, measured, the way a soldier moves toward a sound that everyone else is running from. She pushes through the gymnasium door. She sees it all in 4 seconds. The child on the floor, the distended neck veins, the tracheal deviation, the useless first aid kit, the cosmetic surgeon holding an ice pack. She knows what is happening inside that child's body. She has seen it 11 times, not in a gymnasium. In a dust-choked field hospital outside Mosul, where a 7-year-old girl caught shrapnel from an IED and her right lung collapsed and there was no surgeon and no chest tube kit and no backup, and Janelle Price saved her with a 14-gauge needle and a steady hand. She crosses the gymnasium floor. She kneels beside Lily. She places 2 fingers on the child's neck, feeling for tracheal position. Deviated left. Tension pneumo. Right side. Every head turns. A cafeteria worker in a stained uniform is kneeling beside an 8-year-old billionaire's granddaughter, using clinical language that most of the adults in this room have never heard. Crandall's face cycles through 3 expressions: confusion, disbelief, then something older, something uglier. His nostrils flare. Who let you in here? Sir, her oxygen is dropping. If we don't decompress the right chest cavity in the next 90 seconds, her heart is going to arrest. I need a 14-gauge needle, and a Crandall grabs her wrist, hard. His fingers close around the bones. He pulls her hand away from the child. You, do not touch this student. He speaks each word like a nail driven into wood. His voice drops. You are a lunch lady. You serve chicken nuggets and apple slices. You do not put your filthy hands on a child at this school. He looks at her. Hairnet, apron, black skin. And if you say one more word, I will have the police here tonight. Do you understand me? 2 men in blazers. They take Janelle by the arms. As they pull her back, her collar shifts. The steel chain catches the light. A brief flash of bronze, then gone. Josie Alvarez sees it. Her eyes widen. Janelle is walked to the hallway. The gymnasium doors close behind her. Inside, Lily Ashford's oxygen saturation drops to 79%. Her heart rate hits 162. Her lips are the color of a bruise. Josie Alvarez has been a nurse for 11 years. She has watched doctors make wrong calls and said nothing. She has watched protocol override common sense and stayed quiet. She has kept the peace, done her job, gone home to a small apartment where she doesn't have to pretend the hierarchy works. Tonight, she is done pretending. She stands up. She walks out of the gymnasium. She finds Janelle sitting on a bench in the corridor, hands on her knees, staring at the floor. You were right. Josie is breathing hard. Tension pneumo, right side. Crandall is treating it as bronchospasm. He's going to kill that child. Janelle doesn't look up. Her thumbs press into her kneecaps. Her jaw is set. Janelle, there is a little girl in there who is going to die. The ambulance is 40 minutes out. Crandall can't handle this. You know that. I know that. Silence. The heating vent hums above them. I got removed, Josie. He grabbed my wrist. He called security. I know. Because I'm the cafeteria worker. Because I'm black. Because men like him don't hear words when they come from someone who looks like me. Josie says nothing. She lets the silence hold the words. Then she speaks. You're right. All of it. And I can't fix that tonight. But I can tell you that the girl on that floor has about 2 minutes before her heart stops, and you are the only person in this building who knows what to do. So you can sit on this bench and be right about everything that's wrong with this world. or you can come with me and save a child's life. I can't make you, but I'm asking. Janelle is still. Her hand moves to her collar. She pulls the chain free. The challenge coin drops into her palm. 101st Airborne. On the reverse, scratched but legible, the insignia of the 68 Whiskey Combat Medic Special. Josie sees it. Her breath catches. You're a breath catches. I was a combat medic. Now I'm a lunch lady who got escorted out for opening her mouth. How many trauma cases? Jill closes her eyes. When she speaks, her voice is flat, factual. The voice of a woman reading coordinates off a map. 3 tours, Iraq and Afghanistan. 12 years active duty. 347 trauma cases. 61 pediatric. 19 tension pneumothorax decompressions in the field. No surgical suite. No anesthesia. No backup. She opens her eyes. Patient survived. Josie extends her hand. Come with me now. She looks at the coin in her palm. She looks at the gymnasium door. Then she stands. She tucks the coin back under her collar. She straightens her uniform. She walks toward the gymnasium. Not fast, not slow. The way a soldier walks toward a thing that everyone else has already given up on. She pushes the door open. The room is worse than she left it. Lily is barely conscious. Her skin is gray-white, oxygen saturation 74%. Heart rate 170. Crandall is holding an albuterol inhaler to the child's mouth, trying to treat a collapsed lung with asthma medication. It is doing nothing. It will do nothing. Janelle walks straight to the child, kneels. Crandall's head snaps up. I had you removed. I will call the police. I will Hugh. Josie steps in front of him. Her voice is steel, wrapped in cotton. That child's oxygen is at 74 and falling. Her trachea is deviated. Her neck veins are distended. That is a tension pneumothorax, not asthma. Your albuterol is useless. The ambulance is 35 minutes away. She does not have 35 minutes. She does not have 5. She points at Janelle. This woman served 12 years in the United States Army, 101st Airborne Division. 3 combat tours, 2 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. She was a senior line medic who treated hundreds of trauma patients in active combat zones, including 61 children. She has decompressed 19 tension pneumothoraces in the field with improvised equipment under enemy fire. Every single patient survived. The gymnasium is silent. 240 people in formal wear, holding champagne flutes, staring at a woman in a cafeteria uniform. You can throw her out again, or you can let her save this child. But if Lily Ashford dies while you're protecting your ego, every person in this room will know exactly why. Crandall's mouth works. His eyes dart to Warren Ashford, who is on his knee beside his granddaughter, his face destroyed by fear. Warren speaks. His voice is raw. Let her help. For God's sake, let her help. Crandall says nothing, but he steps aside. One step, the smallest physical movement and the largest surrender of his professional life. Janelle doesn't wait. She is already assessing. 4 seconds. Eyes, pupils sluggish, skin, gray, clammy, mottled at fingertips, neck, trachea deviated left, jugular veins distended like cables, chest, right side hyper-expanded, no movement, left side rising alone, tension pneumothorax, right side, progressing toward cardiac arrest. She speaks without looking up. Her voice is low, steady, precise, a frequency that bypasses panic and speaks directly to training. I need a 14-gauge needle, at least 3 inches long. If the medical kit doesn't have one, check the nurse's office. There should be a decompression needle in the emergency asthma kit. I also need alcohol swabs, medical tape, and someone to hold this child still. She pauses, looks at her own hands, still in her cafeteria uniform, and gloves, sterile if you have them, clean if you don't. Josie runs. She returns in 90 seconds with a needle, swabs, tape, and a pair of nitrile gloves from the kitchen supply. Janelle pulls the gloves on. They snap against her wrists. For the first time in 4 years, her hands are dressed for the work they were built to do. She swabs the skin over Lily's right chest. Second intercostal space, midclavicular line. She can find this landmark in her sleep. She has found it in darkness, in dust, in the back of a shaking Humvee with rounds hitting the armor outside. She positions the needle, 14 gauge, 3¼ inches. Enough to reach the pleural space in a small child. Crandall steps forward. You can't just puncture a child's chest in a gymnasium. This isn't a war zone. There are protocols. There is liability. There, where I come from, doctor, we didn't wait for permission to save a life. We just saved it. She inserts the needle, perpendicular to the chest wall, just above the third rib to avoid the intercostal vessels. She feels the pop as the needle passes through the parietal pleura. A hiss of air escapes, pressurized, loud enough that the people in the front row hear it. The trapped air that was crushing Lily's lung and shifting her heart rushes out through the needle like a whispered scream. Lily's body shudders. Her chest wall moves, both sides now, rising and falling together. Oxygen saturation 679, 83, 87, heart rate 160, 148, 132. Color returns to her fingertips first, then her lips, then her face, like dawn reaching a shore that has been in darkness too long. Janelle tapes the needle in place. She fashions a flutter valve from the finger of a nitrile glove, cut and taped over the needle hub, allowing air to escape but not re-enter. A field improvisation she learned in Fallujah, a technique not taught in any civilian medical school in the country. She monitors 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3. Oxygen saturation climbs, 91, 94, 96, heart rate settles, 118, 108, 100. Lily's eyes flutter open. She coughs once, a small wet cough. The cough of a child whose lung has just reinflated. She looks up at Janelle, at the hairnet, the stained apron, the gloved hands, and she whispers, "Are you a doctor?" Janelle's jaw tightens. Something crosses her face, fast like a cloud over the sun. "I used to be something like that, sweetheart." Lily's small hand reaches up and grabs Janelle's finger. She holds on the way children hold on when they have found the person who makes the fear stop. Warren Ashford is on his knees on the gymnasium floor. He has stopped speaking. He has stopped breathing. He is staring at his granddaughter's pink face, her open eyes, her rising chest, and at the hands that made it happen. Hands in kitchen gloves. Hands that served him canapes 2 hours ago. His eyes are wet, not from fear, not anymore, from the weight of understanding what just happened, and from the unbearable clarity of knowing that the person who saved his granddaughter is someone this school never bothered to see. The challenge coin has slipped free from Janelle's collar. It hangs over her chest, spinning slowly in the gymnasium light, casting a tiny shadow across Lily's blanket. A woman near the front row sees the insignia. She whispers to her husband. He whispers to the man beside him. The knowledge spreads through the room like a wave, silently, changing the way every pair of eyes sees the woman in the cafeteria uniform. Hugh Crandall stands against the far wall. His arms are at his sides. His face holds an expression he has never worn in this school, the expression of a man who has just understood too late exactly how wrong he has been. He does not speak. For the first time in his adult life, Hugh Crandall has nothing to say. The ambulance arrives 26 minutes later. 2 paramedics walk in, see the needle decompression, the improvised flutter valve, the stable vitals. The lead paramedic, a woman with 20 years of experience, looks at the setup and then looks at Janelle. "Who did this?" Josie points. The paramedic stares at Janelle, at the cafeteria uniform, at the challenge coin. That's the cleanest field decompression I've ever seen. Textbook doesn't cover what you did with that glove valve. Where'd you learn that? Mosul. Janelle's voice is flat. 2007. The paramedic holds her gaze for a long moment. Then she nods, the nod of one professional recognizing another across a divide the world should never have built. They load Lily onto the stretcher. As they wheel her toward the door, Lily reaches out. "I want her to come." Warren Ashford looks at Janelle. His eyes say everything his mouth cannot form into words. Janelle shakes her head. She peels off the gloves. She picks up trap she dropped when she ran upstairs. It has been on the floor the whole time. Pear slices scattered across the hardwood. She bends down. She starts picking up the pears, one by one, placing them back on the tray. The room watches, 240 people in formal wear watching a woman who just saved a child's life pick fruit off the floor, because that is the job the world gave her. Warren Ashford crosses the gymnasium. He kneels beside her, not to help pick up pears, to be at her level, to look her in the eyes without looking down. "What's your name?" "Price, Janelle Price." "Janelle." His voice breaks on the second syllable. "Thank you is not enough. I know that, but I need you to know that I saw what happened here tonight. All of it. And I will not forget." Janelle holds gaze. Then she nods, once. The nod of a woman who has been thanked before and knows that gratitude does not undo what the world has done. But for tonight, it is enough. She stands. She carries the tray toward the service elevator. The challenge coin swings free over her stained uniform. She does not tuck it back in. The elevator doors close. The number descends. Warren Ashford does not sleep that night. He sits in the pediatric ICU at Greenwich Hospital beside his granddaughter, watching her breathe, and he makes a decision. Within 72 hours, he makes 4 phone calls. The first is to the chairman of Ashford Academy's Board of Trustees. The second is to the dean of Yale School of Medicine. The third is to the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. The fourth is to his personal attorney. He does not ask for favors. Warren Ashford does not ask. He presents. He presents the security footage from the gymnasium. Every minute, every angle. He presents Janelle Price military service record, which his legal team recovered from VA archives in 48 hours. 12 years of active service, 3 combat tours, 347 trauma cases, commendation for valor. He presents the incident report that Hugh Crandall filed against the woman who saved Lily Ashford. Unauthorized physical contact with a student. Insubordination. Then he says 6 words. "Fix this, or I go public." The chairman fixes it. Hugh Crandall is removed from the Board of Trustees. His privileges at Ashford Academy are revoked. The board's review uncovers what no one wanted to find. 2 previous incidents where Crandall's authority overrode better judgment, including one where he insisted a child's fractured wrist was a sprain and delayed treatment by 4 hours. Each incident quietly buried to protect the Ashford brand. Crandall does not give a statement. He does not fight. He disappears the way certain men disappear when the power evaporates. Quietly, completely, as though they never mattered at all. Janelle Price military medical credentials are formally recognized through an expedited review initiated by the Department of Veterans Affairs. The same department that lost her records, the same system that told her 3 times that her field experience did not qualify. She is offered a full scholarship to complete her civilian medical certification at Yale. Funded by the Ashford Family Foundation, a new initiative created specifically to support veterans whose battlefield training was never honored by the institutions that should have honored it first. Janelle does not accept immediately. She sits in her apartment in Bridgeport. Small, clean, sparse. The apartment of a woman who has learned to need almost nothing. Holding the challenge coin in one hand and the acceptance letter in the other. She stares at both for a long time. Then she picks up a pen. On her last day at Ashford Academy, she walks through the kitchen one final time. Her apron hangs on the hook, clean, folded. She looks at it the way you look at something that carried you through a season you never want to live again but will never forget. She does not touch it. Josie Alvarez meets her at the front entrance. Not the service entrance, the front. She is holding a small box. Inside a stethoscope, new, polished, engraved along the bell in small, precise letters. For the healer who never stopped. J.A. Janelle holds it in her hands. She places it around her neck. It rests beside the challenge coin, the old life and the new life, side by side against her chest. 4 months later, Warren Ashford hosts a private dinner. Lily runs across the room and wraps her arms around Janelle's waist before anyone can say a word. She looks up. "I told my teacher about you. She asked what you do. I said you save people." Janelle kneels. Her hands, calloused, scarred, extraordinary, rest gently on the child's shoulders. She smiles. For the first time in this story, she smiles. This is not a story about a cafeteria worker who could do surgery. This is a story about what we lose when we judge people by their uniforms instead of their hands. About systems that reward diplomas over ability, titles over talent, appearance over everything. About a country that sends young people to war, teaches them to save lives under gunfire, watches them carry the wounded through dust and blood and darkness, and then tells them when they come home that their experience does not meet institutional standards. Janelle Price was never less than a healer. Not when she wore combat fatigues, not when she wore a cafeteria apron, not when a man in a bespoke suit looked at her brown skin and saw nothing worth hearing. The world did not make Janelle Price small. The world simply refused to see how large she had always been. Until one night, on a gymnasium floor, the world had no choice. There are Janelle Prices everywhere. In hospitals, in kitchens, in warehouses and classrooms and loading docks. Extraordinary people carrying gifts the world refuses to see because it cannot look past the color of their skin, the name on their badge, or the clothes on their back. They are waiting, quietly, patiently, for the moment when their gift cannot be ignored. And when that moment comes, it doesn't just save one life. It changes everything. If this story moved you, if it made you think about someone you know carrying a hidden talent the world refuses to recognize, share it. Send it to someone who needs to hear it today. Stories like this are how we remind each other that dignity, respect, and recognition are not luxuries. They are the bare minimum we owe one another. Like this video. Share it, subscribe to this channel, because stories like Janelle Price's should never go untold. 347 trauma cases, 100% survival rate, 12 years of service, and the only thing this woman was allowed to hold in that school was a serving tray. But here's what stays with me about Janelle Price. She walked back into that gymnasium knowing exactly what it would cost her. Knowing that man would grab her wrist, knowing they'd call security again, and she knelt beside that child anyway. Because her hands didn't need anyone's permission. They never did. And I think about how many people right now are holding a mop, a spatula, a broom, carrying something extraordinary inside them, and the world just won't look. Maybe it's you. Maybe you've been told your experience doesn't count, your skills don't qualify, you don't fit the profile. So tell me something. Have you ever been the most capable person in the room and the last one anyone listened to? Drop that story in the comments. I want to hear it. If this one hit you, smash that like and share it with someone who's been overlooked. Subscribe if you're new. And remember, competence doesn't need permission. And courage has never needed a credential.